To Scott's Wing Sports Today, ladies and gentlemen. I'm back all by myself today. My dad's at work. It's time to do some more college football and NFL predictions. Let's get into those right now. First game out tomorrow at noon. Saturday at noon. It will be Ohio State hosting Purdue. Ohio State number 2 coming in out of the first college football playoff rankings. I'm going to take Ohio State at home. I think Ohio State's looked very good. They impressed me last week with the win at Penn State, so I think Ohio State's got a pretty good chance of making the playoffs. So I'm going to go with Ohio State at home over Purdue. Next up, Miami going into Atlanta to take on Georgia Tech. Miami number 4 in the rankings this week. I will take Miami at home on the road. I think Miami's played very, very well this year. So I'm going to take Miami on the road to get it done over Georgia Tech. Next up, the Florida Gators coming off a little bit of a rough loss against Georgia last week as they take on the Texas Longhorns in Austin. Texas coming in number 5 in the country after a very good bounce back performance after losing to Georgia a few weeks ago. 65 degrees and raining on Saturday in Austin. I will go with Texas at home. I think Texas is just a better team than Florida is right now, so I'll take Texas at home over Florida. Next up, Georgia going on the road to Ole Miss. Ole Miss is in a must-win situation right now. They're right on the outside looking in of the college football playoff. But I'm going to take Georgia on the road. I think Georgia's a better team right now than Ole Miss, so I'll take Georgia on the road to get it done over Ole Miss. Next up, Michigan heading in to Bloomington, Indiana to take on the Indiana Hoosiers. Indiana coming in 9-0. Not a lot of people are giving them a lot of credit for being undefeated with how weak their schedule is right now. But I think this is the week where Indiana starts gaining some respect in the committee. I'll take Indiana at home to get it done over the defending national champion Michigan Wolverines this week. I'll take Indiana at home over Michigan. Next up, number 17, Iowa State, looking for a bounce-back performance after losing to Texas Tech last week as they head into Kansas City to take on the Kansas Jayhawks. This game's going to be played at Arrowhead, so this will be very interesting. I'm gonna take Iowa State here. I think Iowa State's a better team. I think they're upset about how they played last week against Texas Tech. So I'll take Iowa State on the road to get it done against Kansas. Next up, number 23, Clemson heading in to Lane Stadium in Virginia to take on Virginia Tech. I'm going to go with Clemson. I think Clemson is looking very good right now. Still not in the running to make the playoff right now, but I think they'll get there by the end of the season. I'll take Clemson on the road over Virginia Tech. Next up, Army coming in ranked number 25 in the country, heading in to Denton to take on North Texas. I will take Army. I think Army's been playing very, very well this year. So give me Army on the road to get it done against North Texas. Next up, Colorado heading in to Lubbock, Texas to take on Texas Tech. I'm going to go with I'm going to go with the Buffs on the road. I think the Buffs have been playing very well recently. So I'm going to go with Shedeur Sanders, Travis Hunter, and the Colorado Buffaloes to keep their hopes of making the college football playoff alive this week. So give me Colorado on the road over Texas Tech. Next up, Maryland heading in to Eugene to take on Oregon. Oregon coming in number 1 in the country in the first rankings. I'm going to take Oregon at home. I think Oregon's been playing very, very well so far this season with former UCF quarterback Dillon Gabriel. So I'll take Oregon at home over Maryland. Next up, Mississippi State heading into Knoxville to take on Tennessee. Tennessee coming in number 7 in the country. I will take Tennessee at home. I think Tennessee's been playing very, very well. So I'm going to take Tennessee at home over probably the worst team in the SEC in Mississippi State. Next up, Florida State heading in to Notre Dame Stadium to take on the Irish. Notre Dame's bounced back very well after losing to Northern Illinois earlier this season. I'm going to take the Irish at home. I think Notre Dame wins and probably covers the spread here. Florida State might not win another game this year. So I'm going to take Notre Dame at home over Florida State. Next up, Oklahoma coming off a good win last week as they take on Missouri this week. I will take. I'm going to trust my gut this week. I'll take Missouri at home. I don't know why Oklahoma's favored in this game, but I'll take Missouri at home to get it done over Oklahoma. Next up, Washington heading in to University Park to take on Penn State. I'll take Penn State to bounce back after a tough loss last week to Ohio State. I think they bounce back this week, and they beat Washington at home to get back on track. Next up, Nevada heading in to Albertson Stadium in Boise, Idaho to take on Boise. 48 degrees at Boise State this week. I will take Boise on the road at home. I think they probably have one of the best players in the nation right now that nobody's talking about. In Ashton Jeanty, I think he's probably one of the best players that no one's talking about right now. So I'll take Boise State at home over Nevada. Next up, Virginia and Pitt. I will take Pitt at home. I think Pitt has looked very, very good so far this season. So I'll take Pitt at home over Virginia. Next up, and probably the biggest rivalry in the Big 12 now that the Red River rivalry is gone, is it'll be the holy war between BYU and Utah. This game will be played in Salt Lake City. I'm going to take BYU. I know that Utah has won like 10 of the last 11 games in this rivalry, but BYU's a much better team this year. If Cam Rising was playing this week, I would absolutely take Utah at home. But because he's not in this week, I will take BYU on the road to get a win over Utah. Next up, Utah State heading in to Pullman, Washington to take on Washington State. I'm going to go with Washington State here at home. I think a lot of people haven't been paying attention to Washington State this year because they're in a non-conference in the Pac-12. So I'll take Washington State at home over Utah State. Now the final game for the weekend is it'll be number 11 Alabama heading in to Baton Rouge to take on LSU. College game day will be there Saturday morning. I'll take Alabama. I think Milroe's going to play well enough. I don't think the committee wants to see no Alabama in the college football playoff this year. So I'm going to take Alabama to get the win here on the road over LSU. Now to the NFL games for the weekend. Starting off tonight on Prime Video. Should be a good game tonight as it'll be Joe Burrow and the Cincinnati Bengals heading into Baltimore to take on Lamar Jackson and the Baltimore Ravens. I'm going to take the Ravens at home. I think the Ravens are a much better team right now than the Bengals. So I'm going to take Lamar Jackson and the Ravens to get it done against the Bengals tonight on Thursday Night Football. Next up, another early game, so get your lineups ready. I don't think any of you have anybody on these two teams starting this week. If you do, I apologize. It'll be the New York Football Giants heading into Munich, Germany to take on Bryce Young and the Carolina Panthers. I do have somebody starting this week, so I'm going to take the Giants to get the win here. I think that the Giants defense is going to make Bryce Young make some mistakes this week. I think Malik Neighbors has a big game. So I'm going to take the Giants to get the win here on the road in Munich against the Panthers. Next up, the New England Patriots heading into Chicago to take on the Chicago Bears, who are coming in off a little bit of a slump. But they have not lost to Soldier Field all year. I don't think they lose here. I'm going to take the Bears at home to get it done over the Patriots. Even though I would love to see the Patriots win this game, to help the Bucs out a little bit in the wild card, I don't think it's going to happen. I'll take the Bears at home over the Patriots. Next up, Josh Allen and the Buffalo Bills heading into Indy to take on the Indianapolis Colts. I'm going to take the Buffalo Bills to get the win here. I think the Bills have been playing very well recently. Maybe the third best team in the AFC right now, the Buffalo Bills. So I'm going to take the Bills on the road to get it done over the Colts. Next up, the Denver Broncos heading into Arrowhead to take on Patrick Mahomes and the Kansas City Chiefs, coming off an overtime win on Monday night. I'm going to take the Chiefs. The Chiefs just find ways to win games right now. They're not winning. They're not winning any. They're not getting any sexy wins right now, but they're finding ways to win games, and that's all you need to do in this league right now. So I'm going to take the Chiefs on the road at home over the Denver Broncos. Next up, the Atlanta Falcons heading into New Orleans to take on the dumpster fire that is the New Orleans Saints. I'm going to take the Falcons on the road. I think the Falcons find a way to win this game. It was close in Atlanta. The Falcons won on like a last-second field goal against Atlanta a couple weeks ago, about a month ago. But I think Atlanta sweeps the division this year. I don't think they lose a single division game this year. I'll take the Falcons on the road to get it done over the Saints. Next up, the San Francisco 49ers heading into Tampa to take on a struggling Bucs team right now who just cannot seem to find a way to get a win. They keep on punching me in the gut every single week. Every week I have hope that they're going to win a game, and they fall short just at the end. And I think that happens again this week. I think the 49ers are coming off a bye week. They're getting healthy. I'm going to take Christian McCaffrey and the Niners to get it done on the road against the Bucs and probably a last-second field goal just to break my heart even more. I'll take the Niners on the road to get it done against the Bucs. Next up, probably one of the best games of the weekend is it'll be the Pittsburgh Steelers heading into Washington to take on the Commanders. I'm going to take the Commanders at home. I think the Commanders are a little bit better than the Steelers. But I would not be shocked to see the Steelers win this game because of how good their defense is and going against a rookie quarterback. But I'm going to take the Commanders at home to find a way to get a win at home over the Steelers. Next up, the Minnesota Vikings heading into Jacksonville to take on the Jags. Vikings had a little bit of a close call last week on Sunday night against the Rams. But I think they bounced. I think they play a little bit better this week. I'm going to take Minnesota at home on the road here in Jacksonville against the Jags. Next up, the Tennessee Titans heading in to SoFi Stadium to take on John Harbaugh and the LA Chargers. I'm going to go with the Chargers at home. I think the Chargers have been playing very well this year. I think John Harbaugh may be getting his team into the playoffs in his first year in LA. So I'm going to go with the Chargers at home over the Titans. Next up, in a game that most people would be excited about if one of these teams if it wasn't who they are right now. It'll be Jalen Hurts and the Philadelphia Eagles heading into AT&T Stadium to take on Cooper Rush and the Dallas Cowboys. This is a no-brainer this week. I'm going to take Philly. Unfortunately, I think the Eagles are a better team right now than Dallas. So I'm going to take the Eagles on the road to get it done over the Cowboys. Next up, the New York Jets heading into Arizona to take on the Arizona Cardinals. I'm going to take the New York Jets here. I think the Jets got some momentum going last Thursday night on Thursday Night Football. I think they keep that going this week. I'm going to take the Jets to get a win on the road in Glendale against the Cardinals. Next up, Sunday Night Football in what should be a very interesting game. This will be Jared Goff and the Lions heading into NRG Stadium to take on C.J. Stroud and the Houston Texans. I'm going to go with the Lions to get the win here. I think the Lions have been playing very well ever since they lost back in Week 2 to the Bucs, which is very heartbreaking to hear. I'm going to take the Lions to get the win here on the road to get it done against the Texans. Next up, the Miami Dolphins heading into SoFi Stadium to take on a improving LA Rams team who's getting back healthy. And Puka Nakua's back. You got Cooper Kupp back. I'm going to take the Rams at home. I think the Rams are going to put some pressure on Tua this week. And Tua's going to make some mistakes. And I think that the Rams are probably one of the... I heard Dan Orlovsky talking on Monday saying the Rams could make the Super Bowl this year if they can stay healthy. And I don't believe that yet. I need to see them beat a good team before I see them as Super Bowl contender this year. So I'm going to take the Rams at home, though, over the Dolphins. And that will do it for this episode of Scott's Speaking Sports today, ladies and gentlemen. I'll be back next week. Sorry that I'm still a little bit under the weather this week, but I wanted to put out a video for you guys this week. So I'll see you guys right back here next week on Scott's Speaking Sports. See you later, guys.